Welcome back to Gravity Rush. Are we ready to actually advance the plot for reals this time?
So did this guy drop his wallet down the bottomless abyss or something?
Hey, did we ever get that letter?
Yeah,
We
we
got the
did,
letter.
and the lady was an ungrateful jerk about it.
Yeah, there's this friendly, not at all evil scientist we're going to be helping.
Oh man, he's even got totally not creepy goggles.
Wow, he's he's two swirly patterns away from actually being Doctor Insano. That's great.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
Is this a story mission or a side mission?
This is a story mission.
Okay.
What
And-
on call?
That's his name.
Andro?
That's
Oh.
his name. Yeah.
Oh, he did drop his wallet. Okay.
Well, the case, but yeah.
Might as well be a wallet.
Yeah, you know,
Don't worry, I have a case.
I saw
Don't
it
worry,
first.
I have a case full of wallets.
he's got one of those punch cards in there, and he's only 2 punches away from getting a free Subway sandwich. So
He's lucky this one didn't drop into the bottomless abyss like that letter did.
yeah, because it's
so
gonna
heavy-
be another
it's so-
3 years before I get you this back. You realize that, right?
It's so heavy. What's in here? My wallets.
All 14 of them. Also my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection, but we don't talk about that.
What's a Yu-Gi-Oh?
Exactly.
it's a trading card game. It's kind of like Sorcery the Collectioning.
Sorcery.
Are we talking 4th or 5th edition?
Sorcery the Collectioning. Oh, great. That's great. Uh,
And now we have to do his job.
wonderful.
This guy's evil, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
How
cool.
could you tell?
The fact
the goggles give
the
it away.
fact that we're placing mysterious sensors, then we didn't even ask what they do. Well, I mean, I guess it's obvious that they sense things, but
Man, now I'm having weird feels because this is exactly the kind of situation that Dragon Age 2 put you in, except you're doing it for one of your party members and you have no idea why he's doing it,
but you help him because he's your party member, even though it's obviously evil that they're trying to do.
yeah.
So does Dragon Age 2 have one of those things where you have like a bad guy temporarily join your party?
No.
No?
The character in question was actually a party member in the expansion pack for the first game.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Dragon Age does this thing where there's always one party member who took part in the previous adventure. The thing about Anders though is that he's kind of possessed by a spirit of justice, which sounds like it shouldn't be a problem, but it totally is. Major problem. Because
So the spirit of justice is actually the bad guy.
the spirit of justice knows no mercy.
So it's like Radiant Dawn.
Kind
It's
of. I
it's one of
suppose.
those you get executed for jaywalking kind of things, I imagine.
Well, it's more like, okay, there's some serious injustice going on, but the spirit of justice has no sense of moderation.
Get
So-
Apollo on the case.
So it eventually got twisted into a demon of vengeance. And
Was
the sad thing about that-
Apollo spirit of justice or?
The sad
this-
thing about
can
that,
we not
though,
talk about Spirit of Justice? Because I'd rather not my Twitter mentions be filled with angry people.
the
for
sad
next
thing
10
about
days.
that though is that it's not just Anders who is a previous party member. It's also the spirit of justice. He was inhabiting an undead body at the time, but he actually helped the Grey Warden during the whole Dragon Age Awakening adventure. So you got two previous party members who were good guys, definitely good guys, doing something really goddamn terrible that sets the climax of the game off. I say the climax of the game, but it's a really episodic game, and the story doesn't really have much to do with itself between 1 hour of the game and the next. So, just the final adventure, I suppose.
Isn't Dragon Age 2 the one that's not as good?
It was a really, really, really rushed game, and as a result, the
Thanks,
enemy,
EA.
yes, exactly. And as a result, the enemy variety was crap. The dungeons were basically non-existent outside of the DLC, and the game as a whole was in general very monotonous and at release unpolished. It's not a terrible game, and it even shines really well in certain areas, like there isn't much plot worth mentioning, but it is the characters and the well, the universe are still very charming. The game design gets, like, infinitely better during the DLC missions, though, because BioWare had time to actually polish those. So, yeah, it's something. Ugh.
There were 3 that came out, right?
Yeah, Dragon Age Origins, which was mostly developed before EA got their hands on the company, although it was released after their... And then there's Dragon Age 2, which was the one that got super rushed by EA. And then there's Dragon Age Inquisition, where EA realized, hey, if we're actually going to make money off this company that, you know, makes really involved computer-style RPGs, we should probably give them time enough to make one of those things.
No, release it now. Save the later for DLC.
When's Dragon Age Andromeda?
You see, the thing about Dragon Age Andromeda is that Dragon Age doesn't have the thing going that Mass Effect does, where the first whole trilogy was based around one character protagonist. Every game in the series has a different protagonist and cast of characters, which is
And that's
like...
why Andromeda will have all of them come together to defeat the super evil that they've been working towards.
Oof. Okay. It's all in the same universe and contemporary to each other, but you do have a different protagonist and party and overall goal from game to game. But characters from one game will appear in the next, you know? Like one of your party members in Dragon Age Inquisition is the woman who was grilling Varric for the story of what happened in Dragon Age 2 during those unreliable narrator moments. And she only ever appeared in those flash-forward scenes, but she's a full party member in the third game. That sort of thing, you know? It's not like one long storyline. Each one has its own thing going on. Although they did do a weird thing where the main bad guy of the third game was introduced in the DLC for the second game. That was very strange. Very, very strange writing choice.
Stardew keeps asking for shit.
I'm starting to feel like an... Oh, wow, Cat, really? It's part, what, 27? 20... Wait.
Yeah, 27.
27, and you're only just now realizing that you're an errand girl. Okay.
There is such a thing as being too helpful.
I'm getting real tired of being a video game protagonist.
Then stop being a video game protagonist.
Yeah, but what is she gonna do in the meantime? Like, she lives in a sewer.
I bet
So-
Sarah
she's-
Connor doesn't need to do side quests for everyone. I want to be a horror movie protagonist instead.
She also almost dies a lot. Well, I mean, granted, you do that in video games too. But I mean, doesn't Sarah Connor get killed at some point in the... No, I don't know.
Yes. Because who knows at this point, because Terminator is stupid. And is anyone really looking forward to that movie?
They're
Terminator
making
has
another
rebooted
Terminator
and undone
movie?
its own timeline about 7 or 8 times by now.
Yeah,
So-
but yeah, they're making another Terminator movie.
Oh boy.
Of course they are. You know, I gripe. You can gripe about the lackluster quality of the Jurassic Park sequels, but at least the story concepts have been relatively tame. Like, hey, there's this second island that was the breeding facility for the main island. That's, you know, that makes sense. But let's rewrite the timeline 7 or 8 times. That's
That's a good way to get people not to care, I guess, is the thing. Because suddenly everything that they knew from the last several movies doesn't matter anymore.
It also means it never matters, because if it doesn't do well, then they'll just reboot it again anyway.
Yeah, it's the exact problem comic book superheroes have, in fact.
Yeah, basically.
Like, the only time I can ever remember the constant rebooting of comic book universes ever leading to anything interesting was with Power Girl. And that was a complete accident, because eventually Power Girl, whose entire storyline was a complete clusterfuck by that point, actually landed in the hands of some genuinely good writers who were able to make something good out of it. And there's a lot of stuff in comics that have been the result of really bad writing decisions landing in the hands of much better writers who make something good out of it after the fact, like Barbara Gordon becoming Oracle after The Killing Joke. That was completely a different writer's idea. So,
Yeah, it's just one of those things where usually when something goes really bad, they make sure to hire someone they know they can trust to go right after that to fix everything. But unfortunately, that also means that the first 12 issues of their run is getting everything back to something resembling normal after everything got screwed up by the last writer.
yeah. The tragic thing with Power Girl though is okay, I think there was 12 issues under that writer that was all getting Power Girl's series to actually be good, and then they had maybe 1 year's time for the comic to run until New 52 happened, and you can see the seam where the Power Girl series fizzles out because they know New 52 is about to happen, because the last 3 or 4 issues are just nothing stories. Nothing stories with a bit of charm here and there, but it ends on such a weird note. And then it just ends. And the universe reboots because Flashpoint happened, and god damn that entire reboot.
They undid it, right? That's been unrebooted.
No.
I thought it was
kinda...
unrebooted.
No.
Rebirth was weird. Okay, like the previous
The only thing
universe...
that's been quote unquote unrebooted is Superman.
Yeah, they kind of wrote the old. Okay, here's what happened. The new Superman was cockier, less Boy Scouty, which was interesting for a while, but kind of didn't have the same sort of charm the old character was. So they wrote this whole story where the original Superman survived the rebooting of the universe and had just been living with his wife, with his wife,
Lois and John.
The original Lois Lane, and his son this whole time. So when the new Superman got killed off, conveniently with this new universe not having the same technology that saved Superman the first time he died, the original Superman essentially slipped into the new Superman's place in the universe. So
new
he's
Superman,
basically Robo-Robotnik.
Old Superman is hanging out with new Lois Lane and all them.
No. Old Lois Lane.
The original Lois Lane from the original universe also survived.
But wasn't there a new Lois Lane and all that?
Yeah.
So what happened to her? All of them.
Lois Lane is having her own superpower shenanigans going on.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's the thing. Before all this happened, there was also a new Superman and Wonder Woman pairing going on.
That's... I don't know why they try to do that, because it's never
actually surprisingly one of the better story arcs that New Superman was involved in.
Oh, wow.
Our Drew was working for the evil military the entire time.
Oh, no! Who could ever see that coming?
Stalin!
Jesus. Alrighty then.
Scheming.
Oh, they want to capture the cat in order to have bad stuff happen.
We transitioned from a comic book tangent to an actual comic book. I swear we didn't time that, but it kind of happened anyway.
So wait, if so theoretically, since you don't have to do the DLC missions ever, you can start the military DLC mission and then not do the second half where you leave the military.
Yeah.
So couldn't they just clonk you in the back of the head theoretically and then take your cat? At that point?